Now we are moving for the next topic. Every football club collects information. The challenge is turning that information into decision. Modern recruitment departments are expected to connect scouting reports, performance data, analytics, and market intelligence into one clear picture. Our next speaker works at the heart of that process, helping one of Europe's leading clubs build a system that supports smarter recruitment decisions. Please welcome Kevin Jeffries, Head of Scouting Data of OGC Nice. Give one round of applause for him. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Hi, everyone. Just to start, just a quick thank you to Edvard, Corana, and everyone involved in the organization of this event. It's always a pleasure, of course, to be here. I will talk about how we work at OGC Nice. Wasn't the easiest season for us. You probably follow it, but we are really close to be relegated, which would have been disaster for a club like OGC Nice. Quite a big club in France. Obviously, we're not Lyon, Monaco, or this kind of club, but we're supposed to be behind them. Just a quick one about me. Not very important, obviously. It's not about me. It's more about the club and how we work. But not like Goran or not like most of you. Don't have like a master degree in sports science or in data engineer. Actually, I've got a master degree in teaching in primary school and kindergarten, so nothing to do with football. I'm not supposed to be here, if I can say. But I wanted to try my luck, so I did quite a few things on placement at Lille. I'm from the north of France, so I'm from Lille. My father's British, my mom's French, hence my name. And then I did a few things. Ended up working for Stats Perform or Opta, as you may know. Because they wanted to have someone a bit like me, like with some experience as journalist, to be able to vulgarize the data, obviously to be good with numbers, to be good with computer science, if I can say, speak English. So I've stayed there for 5 years. I did a little bit for Beijing One in China, just consultancy, just to have my first step in professional football. And I've joined OGC Nice 5.5 years ago now. I will explain again. This is just something. When I was at Opta, I was lucky enough to publish some books, to be on television, on Canal+, to do radio and stuff like that. So it was really nice experiences. And OGC Nice, so this is the organization. Obviously, here I'm at the center, but I'm not the most important guy. The most important guy is the sports director, Florian Maurice. So when I joined 5 years ago, there was nothing in terms of data at OGC Nice. I had a few job interviews when I was talking to OGC Nice, one with Catapult, one with the City Group, so for Man City. But I wanted to join OGC Nice because there was nothing. Might sound weird for you, but I was attracted to it because you've got everything to do, everything to work for. So it was very interesting. For them, data, when I joined the club, it was just goal and assist. So I knew I had a lot of work to do. Obviously, OGC Nice is part of the Ineos group, the multi-club ownership from NCO. So we work with Lausanne in Switzerland, with Manchester United. So quite big club, obviously. Will change very quickly. I will explain to you a bit later. So yeah, this is my role. Basically, so I'm working a little bit with everyone at the club, especially because I was alone. I'm still alone for most of it. So when I joined, my first step was to create a methodology, to create like reports for the first team. I will show you later as well. I've been working with several coaches. This season a bit less because I was more focused on scouting, and it's a lot of work, as you know. So yeah, I was working with the head coach, first staff, video analyst. So pre-game reports. I was working during the game as well. So I was sending reports just before halftime for the coach. I was working after the game, obviously, post-game reports. And with some staff, I was also I was working on the training, so doing training with them and the players on the pitch.
Hi, how are you?
So this I've been doing for a while, media department just to help them. Agents, I know I have some familiar faces here, probably some agents as well. You may have talked to Morgan Boulier in the past. Unfortunately, he left the club a few months ago. So now I'm taking care of the agent relationship for the scouting. I'm on holidays next week, so please, if there's agent, please leave me alone for 1 week, please. But it's a lot of work, it's very interesting. So I'm gathering the information basically for the targets we have. Obviously, if you have players that you find interesting, you send them to me. Don't send 15 or 16 players at a time, please. But so I'm gathering for our internal scouting platform that I will show you. And obviously with the scouting department. So with the scouting platform we have, obviously really close to the recruitment coordinators, video analysts for scouting, and the scouts and the sports director on a day-to-day basis. Before, I used to be like 2 days with the first team and 3 days with the scouting department. Now I'm more with the scouting department and with Flo Maurice, obviously. So I was sending him like reports, studies, files for the owners, so for Ineos. So I'm working a little bit with everyone at the club, which is very, very interesting, and we've done quite a lot of things. Obviously, when you're in the club, Ricardo talked about it, I think, Goran as well, and Matt and Jake, actually. What's important is to have a path, like a long-term plan, if I can say, but obviously in football it's really, really hard because we're judged on results. So the best way would be like to have 3 years plan, maybe 4 years or 5 years. But unfortunately, it's barely happened like that. As you can see, these are the people I worked with since I joined the club. So like 4 sports director, general manager. So Julien Fournier, Dave Brailsford, that you might know, Florent Gisolfi, who's now at Sunderland, Florian Maurice. Actually, Florian Maurice left the club just a week ago, so we'll have a new one, a new sports director. Head coaches, again, work with 7 of them. So Adrien Urcea, Christophe Galtier, French champion with Lille, PSG. But you may know Lucien Favre, obviously you probably know him because he was at Dortmund and Mönchengladbach as well. Didier Digard now at Le Havre, Francesco Farioli, the one I was the closest to. Now he went to Ajax and now to Porto, champion of Portugal. Franck Hez as well, very good coach, and Claude Puel. And Claude Puel will leave as well. So in a few weeks, I will have another sports director and another head coach. So it means I will be working like with 13 bosses, if I can say, in 5 years. So it's quite a lot. Really hard to have long-term planning and long-term strategy and methodology because obviously each of them have their own ideas, their way of working. So you need to adapt, which is interesting, but it's difficult because you want to have long-term planning. I think Ricardo, I don't know if he's still here, Ricardo. He says sports director came 5 years ago. For me, that would be a dream because I've never worked with any of them for more than 2 years. And again, we're part of Ineos. For those who don't know, against Manchester United, Lausanne, they want to sell the club, so we'll probably have a new owner, maybe at the end of the week, maybe next week. So new owner, new sports director, new head coach. Maybe I won't be at OGC Nice in 2 weeks, so we don't know. So it would be interesting to see. Supposed to be English owner, so wait and see. This is the platform. There's a quick video, so I will talk you through. So like a little demo of the platform. I don't know if you can click like to launch the video. If you can press play or something. Hopefully it'll be working because okay, you would see, yeah, okay, it's starting. So this is the scouting platform we have. It's called Player. It's just for OGC Nice, so we built it a long time ago. Keep in mind, it was 12 years ago, the first version, so it's not the prettiest, not the newest one, but it was 12 years ago we started on it. We work on it. So it was a scouting platform from scouts, so you can see like here's a calendar for one scout. Obviously, you can have all of the scouts. Me, I'm the like super admin, so I see everything. Sports director see everything. Each scout see only their work. So you see, they just go to a game. They don't need to put the player or anything, but just put the dates and the team, and everything is filled. So they don't need to do anything. Obviously, the goal is to make life really, really simple for the scout. So they don't need to do anything, and then they just have to put their reports. You will see they can change, obviously, if they don't agree with the position of the player. But this is pre-filled from Opta, and then they can put their reports. You see we've got 2 flags, one for OGC Nice and one for Lausanne, because we help Lausanne, which is a smaller club. So they use our platform. So when we like a player, if we want to follow him, we can put a flag, and then we'll have a watch list, if I can say. But I will show you. So again, when I joined the club, there was nothing in some of the data, so we kept working on it. It's a long term. We were lucky enough to have the trust of the owner. Now it's a bit more difficult. So here's the watch list. So we've got all the players that we like, with the flag on the right, you can see. So there's a lot of them, obviously, because there's all the scouts, all the position. So it is just like to know where to find them, but we don't really use that. Then you can filter, obviously, by age, by end of contract, by position, by scout, by whatever you want. And then you've got player listing, which is more relevant, especially for the transfer window. Here it's in French, obviously, but you see we've got by position. So we've got right back, left back, center mid. We've got our priority targets. We've got second choices, opportunities. For the sports director, it's really, really helpful. For the players, I find with data, because we got algorithm, I will show you, I've got also a list. So I've got everything like easy to find, a kind of reminder. So it's really, really useful for especially during transfer windows, there's a lot of work. Best 11, again, something with the favorite players for each scout. So they can put any system they want, they can change the system, they can put any player, really easy to add. You can put one player in different position. Again, you can filter by age, by end of contract, by value as well. Again, we want to have everything at the same place. So for the scouts, we didn't want them to go like for one thing to Scout, to one thing to another platform, everything. So we wanted to have everything in store. When you go to a player's page, for instance, Martin Batulina, but we really, really like at the time, too expensive for us, unfortunately, went to Como. Here you've got the historical of the reports from all the scouts. Again, I can see everything, but each scout, they can only see their report. But me, I can see everything. We got transfer market as well, so we created the evolution of the value. We got where he played, end of contract. We've got the agents, again, from transfer market. And the good thing is, because we've been working for a while, so we've got the historical of the scout reports and the historical of the agent. So we can add the number of the agents. So obviously, if I talk to you and you have a player, I will put your number, and so like the sports director or anyone, they find it. Post-it is like the historical of the talk with you guys or with the club. So again, we have historical. For instance, the sports director, we will have access to this. So it will be super easy. Historical of his game. This is more my part. So you see I've created several algorithms. XPerf, which is game by game impact, XTech, XDEF, XFI. So obviously it's different for each position. I pick the metrics I think very interesting, and then I weigh them differently. Here it's pretty much the same, but really made it simple, really vulgarized, because sometimes you have scouts with 60 years old or an owner. So I made super simple sentences. You can have the detail, obviously, but want it to be super easy. So we've got this, all the players for about 40 or 50 leagues. So again, super useful. Obviously, when a new sport director comes, I can change, I can manage. That's what Goran was saying. It's super, super interesting because I can change whenever I want. I can add the new metrics, get rid of them. This is a query tool. So if you want to look for the player, it's not the prettiest, but it's really powerful. So you can pick one metric, you can pick the algorithm we created, XTech, and you can also mix the data I just show you with the scouts report. So if you say, okay, I want to find a player that the scouts used to like, they have seen him at least twice, gave him 8, but he's not playing much, I can find it. So I can mix the scouts report, the scouts rating, with the technical data, if I can say, or physical data. This is why as well we're using the scouts grade from 1 to 10, so we can have an average and we can use them here. So again, super powerful. You see like all the data we've created. You've got the raw data, you see from Stats Perform. We used to work with StatsBomb and Skill Corner as well, so you can put everything in the platform, so very powerful, but quite hard to use, more for me. And because I don't always have time, I also created alerts. So I don't have to look for it, it will come to me. So for instance, for this one, I said, okay, I want like the players who are 17 years old or younger, who have scored or delivered an assist in any leagues, and I will receive them every week. So then my job is to check them. If we know them, I can delete them. If we don't know them and I find it interesting, I can send it to a scout to have a look, or contact the agent or whatever. So this is super useful. This is another tool, DataViz, again, to have everything at the same place. This is more for me, obviously, when I make a study about a player, a target. This is just a quick example. So we say, okay, we want a striker. You put your target. So for instance, Haaland, obviously something we'll never buy. And you pick the data, and you will see it's super, super easy, super quick, and helped me a lot because I used to do it myself with Tableau or Excel, and it was super annoying, super long. Just put 1 or 2 metrics, and you see it's super easy, super quick. You click on the name, and it appears. Your target in orange, down there, Haaland, and your players in red. So again, super, super easy, and then you can export in PSGA. And anyone can use it, not only the data guy like me. So we've got a few ideas like that. We've got similar player, we've got comparison tool, we've got a lot of things. We keep building, keep working on it. So it's really, really nice tool. This one is more for the scouts when they travel. We got someone organizing this for them. So you said, okay, we want to go to Ligue 1, we want to go to Nantes and to have a game. And you see it takes like 2 hours by driving or 3 hours. So it's super easy like to help them organize the travel for countries that we don't know. It's very interesting. This is something I just explained to you with the agency. For instance, I think I put Wasserman or I don't know, Stellar. So you see, you put the agent's name and you've got all the agents and their players. and we put the number. So again, for the sports director or anyone who comes, we've got everything, and we've got the player that we like with a flag. Interesting as well, obviously, because when you contact an agent, you have to be careful if you like 2 or 3 players, or if you have one of your player in the team and they have one, and you have to be careful. Quick one with the performance index. You've got different type of things here. Performance index is game by game, because the algorithm I showed you are based, you need at least 500 minutes, obviously. Performance index is game by game. Because I didn't want to lose any player, I didn't want to wait 500 minutes to find a player. So every week, the best performances for the player under 22 or 23, I will receive them as well. So this is like when you see performance index, is the best player from the past week, from 22 or 23 or younger. So then again, I can check. If we know him, obviously I won't do anything. If we don't know him, I will send them. And it's funny enough, Goran talked about Zadok, Johanna. I found him like that, just second game or something like that, amazing rating. So I checked, I sent him to a scout, the scouts like them, I talked to the agent. 2 weeks later, he told me that 20 million at least, I was okay. Not for us, unfortunately. Just one last one. Another type of alert, you can see in the bottom. This is the player that we like with a flag. If they get injured, if they change club, if they change agent, if the value rise or decrease, we've got an alert as well. So this, during the transfer window, is quite amazing because it's really hard to follow. If they renew their contract as well, because it's really hard to keep up to date. Before, we used to do it manually, the contract, the end of contract. Now we've got everything, so it's super, super useful. So this is overall the idea. There's a lot of things, and I won't show you the ugly parts, but this the idea of our platform at OGC Nice. I don't know if I can get to the next one. Okay. Again, keep in mind, it's not the prettiest, but keep in mind this started like 12 years ago. So 12 years ago, there was no such platform in many clubs. Probably maybe Michelin or a club like that was having something like that. So we wanted to be like the front runner, if I can say, in terms of data, in terms of platform. And we want to do the same with AI as well. So basically, we started working on AI 2 years ago. We did some online training to understand how AI works, because we heard a lot about AI, but we don't really know how to use it and everything. So we did an online training. We met companies. We found several ways we wanted to work with AI. We present everything to our former president now. Unfortunately, he left. He went to Saudi, to Al Ahly, Fabrice Bocquet. So we didn't start implementing AI in our platform, but that's something that will come, hopefully, maybe according to the new owner. Jake and Gemini are doing something like that. I've got friends who have launched their company as well, are doing something really, really good in terms of platform. Because again, this took years and years to work on, because obviously it's not something we work on all the time. It's just on top of our job, so it took us a few years to work. Overall, I think the platform cost us like maybe 500,000 euros to build over the time. For instance, just a quick comparison, Intellect Frankfurt, they worked on a platform like that. They created their own. They did in 2 years. They got video as well. It's a bit similar to that, obviously more modern, but they spent 4 million, which is quite a lot money. Obviously, they set club really, really for a lot of money, so they can do it. Now again, you've got companies who are doing something like that, like Gemini or Profiler for my friends or other companies, so it's way quicker. Like they say, we don't have a lot of time, so it's way easier. In terms of AI, obviously, most of the providers, whether Stats Perform, Skill Corner, they're using AI to track the players or to do like database or stuff like that for the media, which are interesting. I'll show you a quick example of how AI have been used, or at least talked about in the media. This one, post 2, for me, not the best example. Moreno sacked over reliance on ChatGPT. So he asked how to play, which kind of team and everything. He said it wasn't true, but that's what the media said. On the other hand, it was Laura Harvey, coach in the US, asked ChatGPT what kind of tactic or system she should use, and she did it. Actually, they won. So again, fair enough for her, but for me, it's not the way that you should use it. Again, it was the beginning of AI, so it's worth a try. This is more interesting for me. You've got one recent, paper on Marca, I think, about Bordalas and his team at Getafe, if I'm not, Getafe. Very interesting, because they use AI. Basically, they give them information, they give them data, and they try them. They ask them several questions in terms of tactical input, physical input, set pieces. Really interesting. If you can read the paper, it's quite interesting. Liverpool, always one of the front runners, and they use it for the set pieces to track like how they defend, how they attack, what you should do like to beat them, if I can say. So again, maybe it won't work, but it's always worth a try. Whether it's data, AI, or many fields, you need to try. You will probably miss a lot of things. You'll probably fail a lot of time, but sometimes you'll find really good inputs and really interesting ones. And you see, you've got artificial intelligence coming into football, but it's still pretty new. And like Jack say, if you wait too long, you will be like beaten by most of the clubs. So again, we needed to start pretty soon. This is an example. I'll show you an example that have been done. Some ideas I have, you probably have other ideas as well of AI can help. This is one I had with Profiler, like my friend's company. Instead of searching, like having a query tool and saying, I want, you click on every aspect you want, you just have like a Scout GPT or Chat GPT, and you ask for, okay, who are the best under 23 wingbacks this season in the top 10 and cost maximum 10 million. And you will send you players, and then you click on it, and you've got more details and everything. This is really basic, but it will be super interesting, super easy. Again, you have to keep in mind that you may be a specialist of your field, but some guys, whether the sports director, the owner, some scouts, that may be like 60 or 50, maybe they don't care about data, maybe they hate data. So this is super useful for them. You need patience, you need a lot of patience with them and pedagogy. And again, AI could be something really useful for them and can help them a lot. Other ideas, some of them I use them. On the right-hand side, for instance, it's a summary. I show you like about Matt Batulina. We've got a lot of reports. Instead of reading all of them and create a summary for the sports director of the owner, you can ask AI to create a summary with the strengths, weaknesses, or areas to improve. I've tried it quite a few times, and it's worked really well. It's really useful. And you can even go further, like with a summary, you can have a summary from the scout report, summary of the data, summary of the information that we have in terms of financial, like the cost and the salary. So this is super useful. Again, the idea is to be better, to work faster, and to have an edge, which is harder and harder this time around. Another idea here on the left, a bit different, but something that we find interesting because we're always focused on what's happening on the pitch. But it's always interesting to have an idea of what's happening off the pitch to avoid bad decision, if I can say. So for instance, you can ask AI to have a look at players, how they behave, like on social networks during their interview. Did they have bad things happening? This is with Kefren Thuram, a player, of course, we had at OGC Nice, now at Juventus. I've tried it with him because I know him really well. Actually, he was the first one who asked me for data just for him. And super nice guy. So I knew what they're going to say. So I've tried it. And you see like from social networks, from interview, super nice. So we've still got input. But for players we don't know, I've tried once. And the first answer was like, oh, super nice, talk about his family, about his club, he's super positive. And then you ask again, you say, does something bad happen? And they say, oh, there was this, he had an accident, he went too fast, which can happen obviously. And during a minute of silence, he was laughing. So, you know, it could be interesting. Again, the idea to have the maximum input for the sports director and for the owner, and to avoid bad decision, or at least to know. It won't change like maybe the scouting or the recruitment, but at least you have the information. Another one, Profiler again for my friends, but an idea you can have with WhatsApp, which means your scouting platform will be linked to WhatsApp, and you can ask on WhatsApp like the input you have. It may be like sports director is meeting with an agent or a club. Instead of going to the platform on your phone, just on WhatsApp, you say, okay, what can you tell me about this player? Do we follow him or not? And then you've got like a quick summary. Again, not everything has been done. It's just ideas, quite basic idea. I will show you other ideas. But these are things for me that could be very interesting. And the more I talk with sports director, the more I talk with scouts, obviously you've got more ideas. And again, you may have ideas that I don't even have, which is very interesting. And you can do many things with AI. Another one, this is like I showed you, like travel. To organize the travel, you can put like the game you want to see. For instance, this one was in Ligue 2. I want to see Annecy against Pau, Grenoble against Le Mans, Saint-Etienne against Troyes. Can you organize me my travel? So can you send me like, I don't know, 3 options of flights? How much it would cost? Do I need to rent a car? How long does it take? You see, this is quite basic again, but it's super useful for people when you have like an agency with many players or club with many scouts. Sometimes it's quite difficult. In our platform, we've got the API for Google Map. We want to add Google Flight as well. But these are some ideas. Also, it's not about this one I will talk to you about. I also have another idea for scouting, which is when you watch a video, obviously you know the players, you know the team, and sometimes you've got a bias, which is quite dangerous in scouting. So I think there's a company who's doing that already. The idea was to ghost the player. So when you vote the video, you just have like the silhouette of the player with one number from 1 to 11. And so you scout like that. Obviously, you can't do it for all the game, but at least you won't have a bias when you watch the game, watch the players. You just rate like what you see from the silhouette and the players. I think that will come quite quickly. One last idea. This is like the first number, the first row, the number are correct. The other ones not really, so don't take a picture. There's no point. But this season, with the club, I've been asked to make a study about the Premier League clubs and the players, all the players that signed for a Premier League club in the past 3 or 4 seasons, 3 seasons, I think. Basically, the idea was to know what kind of players the Premier League clubs were looking for. So whether it's every position, average age, average value, average money they spent, number of players, and then according to my algorithm, so XTech, XFI, XDEF, the average. So, and the key strength as well. So for instance, for a center back, is it more important for the Premier League clubs for the, like, I don't know, very, very strong in the aerial duels, or does it need at least, I don't know, 33 kilometer speed, or in terms of index? So I've done that for the, I think there was like 400 or 500 players. I've done that quite manually, like with Excel and everything, so it took me like days. It was a nightmare to do, quite interesting, but nightmare. But when you got the data and use AI, I think in 2 minutes it would be done, which is amazing, and you can have a lot of things. And again, the aim is to help work faster. Same for the platform I've showed you, that we have at Nice. Obviously, it was in French when I joined the club, but we've got English owner. We've had an Italian coach and some assistant from Finland, from Spain. So I translated everything in English at the time. Again, I did it myself. It was very long, not perfect. I've done it in Spanish as well. But now with AI, in like 2 minutes, it's done. It's way better than everything I can do. So again, many ideas, many things to do. And it will come, again, more and more, and you will have more and more. And even you in your daily job, I'm sure, using AI. And in 4 or 5 years, AI will be everywhere. Scouting platform, whether it's from companies or in-house. I think most of the club will be using that because, again, like Goran said just before, you can do everything, you can manage everything, you can change everything. And this is really important, especially, like I said, I've got a new sports director coming in a few weeks. He will see what we've done, and if we want to change, we can change it right away. So again, this, I think for me, is the future, if I can say, or already the present. But whether you're a club or an agency with a few players, I think you need to work on this kind of stuff. And that's it for me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kevin. This was the very, very nice presentation from your side. Do we have any question for our speaker? Yes, we do have. Can we pass the microphone? Thank you.
Hello, Kevin. Nice to meet you, and thank you very much for your presentation. As a scout who's worked in Eastern Europe, mostly, it's very nice to hear from the top 5 leagues, basically your perspective. Some things that you have in France which resemble Eastern Europe is the change of sporting directors and managers that you've encountered. And I'm curious, how did you survive much, much longer than them? What was your strategy? Who kept trusting you all of these years and wanted to emphasize data in scouting? Or what tips and tricks can you share about this?
Well, it's a good question. I'm not sure I've got the answer. Hopefully it's because I'm doing some pretty good work. I don't know, but no, to be honest, for me, my best advantage is the scouting platform. Because when your sports director comes, I show him the platform, explain how it works, and he understands the value of it. And so you need someone to manage the platform and to work in data. And because I'm by myself, it's easier as well. But it's true, for instance, Florent Gisolfi, when he came, he wanted to bring someone who was working with data. I think because of the platform, he kept me. But again, maybe in 2 weeks, the new one will fire me. But so far, so good. And I think the platform is really key for me, like to still be here.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was Kevin Jeffries. Please give one more round of applause for him. Angela is going to give you a nice present from our Deal Done conference.